Yo yo yo, here is Matiz and I'm recording third episode of Learn Planetary Annihilation with Matiz. We had quite a lot of patches recently, a lot of stuff changed, so it's really metagame has changed a lot. So I would like to cover the new metagame stuff with this episode, and the game is me versus Klops. It was really interesting game because well, we've been practicing together for quite some time recently. Well, yeah, so we came up with the pretty new metagame where we play Vanguard drops and nukes and heavy advanced vehicle style with quite early tech into tier 2 economy and stuff. So that's something I will be showing in this replay. We both kinda did it, but yeah, well, the game was really close and really interesting. The other thing that has recently came up was the heavy GILE play, whatever the spelling is. These sniper bots they are really strong, so it's pretty nice to use them too. But I think in current metagame, in current patch, it's even stronger to play Vanguards and Shellers and Levelers because they are just so strong. So here I will try to cover this strategy, and then maybe I will do another episode about some other plays. But it feels like this is the strongest playstyle right now. So we'll see. Klops begins with his standard air factory first versus my bot first strategy. I'm not sure which one is better. They both actually end up pretty well together. It depends on the positions, depends on the metal spawns. I think one of these might be better. If there's a lot of metal in a little place like this, then I think it's better to go with early engineers. But if there's a long engineers have to go a long way, then bombers might be better. But well, it's still kind of close. Depends on the it can be a slightly edge for someone, and depends on the how bombers survive and stuff like this. Here he does quite a lot of damage. He killed my first engineer, then he will probably kill us. No, he didn't kill the second, so that's lucky for me. Yeah, so the key here is to get to air yourself, then get one or two AA bots, and try not to lose too many engineers, and then you just make a lot of economy yourself, because he sacrifices so much economy that it's fine to lose some, because if he doesn't do any damage, then you're ahead, and if he does some damage, then he is just even or slightly ahead. So well, they are pretty good options right now, and it's really both they are viable. As you see, my build is I start with bot factory, then I get two engineers to expand all around the map, and then I make two engineers more to make factories, and then I assist some engineers to my commander to make some energy, and then and then some more to buildings. Klops, on the other hand, I'm not sure what exactly he does. He does, yeah, he goes for are vehicles more efficient than bots? I don't 10,000, and yeah, they are the same, so I don't get it. Actually, bots are faster, so I thought it would be better to start with bots first, but well, anyways, maybe he wants earlier vehicle engineers to make a faster advanced factory. Anyways, so my build order is pretty simple. I keep making energy with my commander unless he attacks me pretty soon, or we are in close spawns. Then I move my commander to fight, because commander is pretty scary, strong unit. And yeah, so I'm making two bot factories, bot factory, then air factory, then bot factory, then vehicle, and then bot, because this will allow me to get fast both fast, advanced factory, relatively fast, and then that's the key because they are pretty strong. And then I use some shellers or some levelers to defend my base, and then I make vanguards in order to drop. So this is pretty nice because I can use my air to scout which way he is coming to me, and I can use my quite small army in order to use it as much effectively as possible. So it's kinda again playing with defender's advantage, where his army has to go quite long way to reach me, so I can just abuse this in order to tech. It's not super fast tech, but it's relatively fast. At around 5 minutes I start my advanced vehicle, and then yeah, so I set up radars everywhere, and I constantly try to scout with my aircraft in order to see if there are any raiding parties. In case he goes heavy tier 1, he will most likely have more army than me, which is obvious, but then I rely on, as I said, defender's advantage, turrets, scouting. If I scout, if I scout his army coming from this way, I just send some army here, and I'm just much more efficient because he has, in order to attack, for example, he can do attack from this side, and this side, but it takes so long time to travel from his base that I can just have some army here and snipe this area, then this, with the same amount, with less amount. Oh Jesus. With less amount of number of army than he, because I just know where is he coming from and what's the size of his army. So that's really nice for me. And yeah, as you see, my army is, well, really tiny, but on the other hand, he also kind of does the same thing, so we cannot really I cannot really show you how to defend heavy tier 1 play. Anyways, he's, I guess, some bomber harassment, which is really nice. So that's like, in this part of the game, this early game, we try to set up as much economy as possible with a lot of energy plants, with some metal spawns. Yeah, here we fight for proxy bases, here's another proxy base, here's quite a lot of mexes. So yeah, I don't get many proxy bases because I want to invest as much as possible into my advanced. Oh, here was the bomber, or what happened? Yeah, I lost quite a lot of engineers. I didn't notice this. So yeah, so it's very important to get as much energy as possible in current build. I think metal is kinda cheap, kinda easy to get. I very rarely have minus in metal. Obviously I do, but it's just kind of cheap to get metal early on. So the heavier emphasis should be put on energy plants. And here he is taking the forward base, and it's pretty nice because if you are going for proxies, it's best to go for tanks, because tanks are slightly better than bots, or quite better actually, but the key is that they are really slow. So it's best to make bot factories in your main, and then vehicle factories as your proxies. That's pretty common technique, and it's really strong and really good. And after I finish my advanced vehicle factory, I get a couple of shellers and levelers, depends on the size of the map and the distance. If it's close distance, then I most likely will make shellers in order to stop any turret pushing or yeah, turrets and stuff. But if it's normal, if it's quite a long way distance between us, then I just make levelers, because I'm not sure actually, but I thought they are faster than shellers, so I don't know. But yeah, well, whatever. They are still better in direct fight, the levelers. So shellers are only good in huge numbers when opponent is barely able to reach you, and also it's good versus turrets. So on such a huge map, it's not really viable thing to try to break all the turrets with artillery, because it's so slow. Yeah, so right now in Planetary Annihilation, I think turrets are slightly too strong because, well, that's the whole reason behind our tier 2 play. Because in tournament and recently, just a few days ago, it was very common to play heavy tier 1 style, which is extremely powerful because at first it looked very powerful because it allows you to gain whole map control, it allows you to just make a shitload of units, and it felt really strong. But apparently tier 2 factories felt pretty expensive, so it was like pretty trendy to go heavy tier 1. But then me and Klops and, well, some other guys as well figured out that turrets are really strong. They are, well, it's just 300 metal for those double laser turrets, and they most likely can stop like 10 or 15 bots or tanks, so that's quite a lot. So we decided that yeah, so our games few days and within this week looked like everyone was going heavy tier 1. Then we figured out that the good counter to heavy tier 1 is a lot of turrets, and now we figured that good counter to a lot of turrets is to go for heavy tech. That's classic example of turtle beats rush, beats economy, and then economy beats turtle. So here it looks the same, and at first everyone was rushing. Then we figured out that one turret here can stop quite a lot of army coming from this side. So it's better to actually just grab your part of planet and then get metal from here. It's not really such a necessity to control whole map anymore because metal is so cheap. So obviously it's nice, but then if you get tier 2 economy, you just make advanced metal extractors, and you don't really care about all these metal spots all around the map. If metal tier 2 metal was less efficient, then it would promote playing pretty map control based, and it was so like before. But right now it's pretty good to make those advanced metal extractors too, and you don't really feel like your metal income is too small or something. So we came from from rush to turtle to tech up, but then but we still have a little bit of each as a perfect strategy, because in order to secure fast tier 2, we also have to make some turrets. As you see, Klops made quite a lot of them, because if someone has more tier 1 units, then he will simply overrun you. So you need turrets in order to tech up, but then you don't turret up so heavy like before to stop all these rushes, but you just turret up a little bit, and then you get tier 2 stuff. I myself play kinda greedy. As you see, I got just 2 turrets. Here I will make second soon, and here, so it's 3 turrets. Klops made quite a lot of them. Well, that's a lot of stuff queued up, but I don't think it's necessary. It's only necessary to make so many turrets versus heavy tier 1 play, but I scouted that he is going for advanced vehicles, so I knew that I don't really have to care. So that's again a plus for me, because this way I can have more economy used up, not into turrets but into some valuable stuff like tier 2 air or tier 2 economy, which is almost almost as good as tier 1, or in case of energy it's even better. So it's pretty good. Yeah, so the strategy right now is to hold the positions that you had. Oh, that's a lot of turrets as well. Yeah, so he's safe. I can't break him with tier 1, and even with tier 2 it's kinda hard to break it. But then I don't really care, since my strategy doesn't revolve around killing his outer maxes. Simple as that. Yeah, so he's doing some little push with tier 1, but as you see, it's 150 turret can stop so many bots, so that's silly. And also I have already my levelers and shellers coming out of the factory. Yeah, so the reason why we play like we play right now is to first we get vehicle, then we get air, The key is you need this quite early vehicle factory in order to stop some kind of tier 1 rushes. If he went for like 20 tier 1 factories, I would have to have levelers and shellers to stop this, otherwise it would be really hard. So that forces us to go first first land factory and then air. Air is pretty good. It's not overpowered as it was before. And look at this. It's like 8 or it was 7 or 8 bots, and they just crashed this turret. It really owned them. Even if he tried some cute micro, it didn't matter. So those turrets are really strong. Yeah, so the key is to get also you get pretty good tier 2 fabricator bots vehicles, so they are really nice. So you can safely expand your tier 2 economy, and then and so you are safe versus tier 1 rushes. So you are and you are also safe to make pretty good tier 2 economy. So you don't really so it forces land first, and then you can go air, because if you went air first, advanced air, then it could be hard to stop some heavy tier 1 pushes, because tier 1 AA is pretty good right now versus even tier 2 air. So as you see, I'm using my shellers here to break his contain, his proxy base. I don't really put much effort into it, because well, as I said, it doesn't matter that much. Look, I'm floating quite a lot. It's well, I fucked up economy management, but it's still nice that I don't really, I just grab a lot of meta early on, then I invest it into tier 2 economy, and then I have pretty good economy. I don't really have to care that much about all this stuff, because games usually decide before you can saturate your main base with tier 2 metal extractors, so you don't really have to care that much about those outer ones. Okay, so Klops already rushed for the Vanguard drop. I myself tend to do it quite a little bit slower, a little bit more patiently. Because as I said, I make quite a lot of levelers and shellers in order to do some kind of strong push with my army, and then I drop behind him or in the back, so it feels for him. I attack him in 2 places. In one place I attack him with shellers and levelers and normal army, and then I do the drop with Vanguards as a follow-up. So this is nice because I attack in 2 places, and right now he just attacks in 1 place, and he turtles in everywhere else. So the key to make drop successful is usually to put pressure in a couple of places, because then opponent will most likely not defend all the places correctly. And so I prefer to make quite a strong army early on that will drag a lot of his forces to counter my army, and then I do the drop and ravage his base while he's undefended. It's very simple. Probably in future it will evolve in a way that StarCraft 2 evolved, where you got 2-3 drops at once, but we are still not good enough to really do this, because we are not good enough yet, but soon probably we will see double drops and stuff that will be pretty epic, and I'm really fan of drops. It makes for really epic gameplay. Right now, so he chose to do very fast drop and then defend with his main army. I decided to do later drop, but push with my main army and not turtle up. So as you see, his heavy turtling early on made sense actually, because he rushes for the drop. I myself just play it cool, and then I get the drop a little bit later. And I also tend to get more in the drop, because I think for Vanguards it's not really that scary. Obviously it's scary, and when I saw that I really was scared, but it's really counterable. Look, I throw some Uber cannons, I send some units, I get a gunship, and I'm Barely, but I managed to hold this. While sending 8 or 10 is really hard to counter, as I will show later. Yeah, so another important part of current metagame, and it hasn't changed, is the nuke. Previously, the nuke wasn't so necessary to play because, I mean, in the tier 1 rush era, because the games were usually over before the nuke was ready. But now again, if the game is turtly and it's heavy tier 2 economy, the best way to spend your money is basically on the nuke. Well, not the best, but it's pretty good one. Because base is pretty clumped, and also reaching someone, destroying someone's other base without a nuke is really hard. So yeah, here I just put all my airplanes on the patrol, and I luckily intercepted the drop, and it did nothing. So the reason why drops are so awesome in this game right now, in this patch, is that it's high risk, high reward strategy. So that's really awesome, because later, beforehand, when we had commander drop, it was very high reward but very low risk. So that was obviously broken. But right now, you invest quite a lot of money to get Vanguards. Then you invest air to get it, and if you and I can prevent the drop completely without losing anything. So that's great for me. So you can do a lot of damage to me if you drop me, but if I intercept it, you lose quite a lot. So it's really great high risk, high reward balance, and I'm really fan of current way that it works right now. Yeah, so it's all the combination of tier 2 play of this game is really nice, because right here it's combination of tier 1 play, of turret play, of tier 2 play, of drop play, and air superiority play, and nuke play. So that's really awesome. I really am a fan of this patch. It's really nice. Although the turrets are a little bit too strong in my opinion. Yeah, so I set up a proxy base. As you see, I do the advanced vehicles because as it has been proven before, it's really easy to stop tier 1. Even if I have 10 or 50, well, 50 not, but 20 factories here, I can still be stopped easily by just making 5 or 6 tier not tier 2, but those double laser turrets, which are really cheap. So the only way to really break into someone's base is to proxy vehicles, vehicle factories. Maybe maybe bots, but the key has to be advanced. It has to be advanced factory. Yeah. So I've got one drop. I've been dropped once. Then it did damage. Then I deflected the drop, another drop. So now it's time to drop myself, because here's my army. It's getting really powerful. I have a lot of shellers, and shellers, once they reach a critical number, which is 15 or 20, they are extremely strong. Any ground army cannot really reach them, because they just kill stuff so fast. So that's really good. So again, it's a nice mechanic in which if your whole army is in one place, if you have 30 shellers together, you are almost invincible, but then you are vulnerable in all other fronts. So again, that's kind of interesting that shellers are so strong, but it's not like the death ball from StarCraft, where you can't do anything about it. You can just attack somewhere else, since they are extremely slow, and they are pretty expensive. So it's nice to I can win in this particular faction part of the map, but then here I can be stomped by any kind of tier 1 or 2 army, land army. So the shellers, I'm really fan of how they work now, and the same with sniper bots. The range makes them, once they reach critical number, they are pretty hard to beat. But again, they are pretty slow and vulnerable. The thing is that breaks this balance a little bit again are those turrets, and because they are this way, tier 1 army cannot really dodge tier 2 shellers and vanguards and stuff, because if I wanted to attack in somewhere else, then I have to face just 2 turrets and it's gone. So again, tier 1, in theory it should be able to attack in other places, but it's not really the fact. So that's if that was nerfed, then we could still have heavy tier 1 and heavy tier 2 plays, depending on the how people like to play. But in this situation it's not really doable, you have to go tier 2. So that would be nice if we got tier 1 artillery, or we got some kind of tier just nerfed turrets. So here it's we both rushed the nuke basically, because yeah, we are in this situation where we both are basically impenetrable, apart from drops. So that's nice. As you see, I took a pretty funny road because I tried to dodge him. Yeah, he's chasing me, but I will most likely I landed here. I was really lucky. That was really close, but it's quite a lot of vanguards. It's 8. They are doing a little dance here. That's pretty interesting. But then again, yeah. So 8 vanguards. It's much more. It's much stronger than just 4. For the reasons that are showed in this replay. Because well, he also had no army in production. He rushed nuke really hard, so that explains why the drop did so much damage. He has quite nice air force, but he has just no land army, so that's not a surprise that he cannot do anything. He tries to rely on turrets, but it's just way too much. Yeah, so the reason that this nuke, this drop did so much damage is because he focused on the nuke so much. If he had army here, if he had levelers, if he had shellers, if he had some turrets, I actually would be this drop wouldn't do that much. But he had no land army, so that's obvious and fine that I did so much damage. In case he had army, then this drop wouldn't do so much damage. So I would say it's good balance. It's good balance because I hit in the situation where he was so unprepared, so it was viable choice. So right now he got his nuke a little bit faster than me because of the fact that he stopped his land production and he focused so much on it. So I thought I might not be in such a good shape, but I tried to, since my last game in tournament, I tried to spread my biases a little bit more. I still failed to do it because if he hit here I would lose all my energy, so that's bad. But still, I'm not in bad shape because I destroy a lot of his bases. I sent stuff to kill his energy, I kill his nuke, I kill his factories, which is very important. And here it's just some tier 1 factories that are pretty much useless. So I tried to catch up by making anti-nuke launcher, but it was too late. My economy is pretty big, so I thought I might do it, but it's still pretty expensive and not so good. And luckily I managed to shoot my own nuke too, I think. Well, maybe not. I thought I did. Well, I didn't. I failed. So, but still, I have my own vanguards that are killing a lot of stuff. Here, I will try to snipe his nuke launcher in order not to get nuked more, because that could end up not well. The game froze. I hope it's not crashed. Wow. Well, the game is close to end anyway, so that kind of sucks. Well, anyway, so the key here is to I did a drop here and I killed quite a lot of stuff, and then I finished stuff with. I killed my stuff. I killed his stuff with my remaining army of my proxy vehicle factories, and here. Oh yeah, I can't play it anymore. So the nuke did quite a lot of damage, but it wasn't enough to hold all my armies because he simply had not enough army. And tier 2 air, he had the dominance, but it wasn't enough to stop my armies because right now tier 1 AA is good enough to kill tier 2 air. So he had no real stuff to kill my armies, and I just rolled over everything else that is left. But the drop was really important part of this strategy. And the last thing that is so critical about it is that it's the balance of every stuff in this strategy, because I have very strong main army, which is levelers and shellers. Then I have very mobile army, which is peregrines plus gunships, and then I have very and then it's very mobile and it's weak in direct fight, but it's still enough to clean tier 1 stuff. The gunships and peregrines, and then I have another very strong tool, which is a Vanguard drop, and it allows me to be very mobile and also have the possibility to strike his base directly and very strong way, which beforehand it was the nuke, the only way to penetrate someone's base, and right now I just need I just need successful drop to deal a lot of damage. So it's all these elements just put together pretty well. When I use some turrets and some tier 1 to secure my tier 2 easily, then I get tier 2 economy, then I get both heavy army, good mobility, and good base striking abilities. So the strategy feels extremely strong right now. The nuke is pretty much the game ender here. Usually, obviously, you can fail like I did in tournament, but most of the times nuke is really strong, and here yeah, well, yeah. So also the pretty important targets to drop are usually the energy and nuclear missiles launchers and tier 2 factories. So if you plan to drop, try to target one of those stuff of those things. I think it's best to get rid of energy, because it limits the way he can produce stuff, but also it's good to take out, well, all these three things, and obviously commander, but that's greedy play. I don't really try to kill commander with Vanguard drop, because he can just dodge and walk away with his commander, so it's better to just kill stuff that doesn't move, which is buildings, mostly buildings. And then my May army decides to strike in some place, which I find important on the planet. This time I think this was important because he could make this he made this very fortified, so I was afraid that he might have some advanced tech or economy here. So I had to take out this main base, and then I had to focus on this and this. So I decided that I will drop and nuke and then attack with my proxies here, and then I will use my main army to take out this, and then I will try to defend this somehow with the reinforcements or something. So it was important to take out well, all of these three locations. And obviously the emphasis should be on the main army because of the economy, tier 2 economy that exists there. So as you see, I put all the three things: nuke, which I didn't manage to fire but it was ready, then proxy, advanced vehicles, and then drop. It was all targeted in the main base because I wanted to strike it as hard as possible, while those two bases are pretty much meaningless. So if I really they can only be careful in case dangerous in case he makes some tier 2 economy or tier 2 vehicles here. But if it's only turrets and tier 1 factories, it's really meaningless. So if I had knew that, I could also attack his main base and stuff. So it seems that connection to server lost or whatever. So I guess I will wrap this up. Yeah, I tried to cover this. I think I covered it relatively well. So that will be it. Yeah, thanks for watching, and sorry for the noises in background, but I couldn't do much about it. And well, see you on the next episode.